Hello and happy Sunday morning. Can you believe it? The NFL season is almost upon us. And as it is, I am going to be getting you ready by previewing each of the 32 NFL teams in as we make our way toward the start of the regular season, which kicks off on Thursday, September 5th. In fact, we get our first preseason game on Thursday night, which is literally the first day of August. So football is really almost here. And there's no better way to kick off the team preview series than with starting with the defending Super Bowl champion, the Kansas City Chiefs. Last year was pretty good for the Kansas City Chiefs. It wasn't an easy season. They looked mortal at times, but they finished 11-6. They won the AFC West and swept through the playoffs. The Chiefs beat the Dolphins at home in one of the coldest games ever. Then they beat the Bills and the Ravens on the road to win the AFC. Then it was a win over the 49ers in the Super Bowl as Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes hoisted their third overall Lombardi trophy. This offseason, the question is, can they win it again and make it three in a row? Well, they didn't have a ton of off-season changes, as you might expect with a good team. Veteran receiver Marquez Valdes-Scantling left in free agency for the Bills. Cornerback L'Jarius Sneed was traded to the Titans, but the Chiefs brought back Clyde Edwards-Helaire to provide some backfield depth and signed veteran Carson Wentz to be their backup quarterback. They also added a few weapons. Marquise Brown, the receiver, comes over from the Cardinals. In his first three seasons, he played with the Ravens. He has 313 receptions for 3,644 yards and 28 touchdowns in his career. But it was the draft where they made the biggest splash. They upgraded the receiver position, spending a first-round selection on the young man on your screen. That is Texas receiver Xavier Worthy. He set the record for the 40-yard dash at the NFL Combine, and in 3 seasons, he had 197 receptions for, including 75 for 1,014 yards in 2023. He was out of the University of Texas. In the second round, they grabbed another offensive lineman with Kingsley Sumayatia, and later grabbed a tight end in Jared Wiley. Let's turn to their fantasy prospects. The Chiefs have a loaded offense, and you'll undoubtedly want a piece of that in your fantasy games. But that kicks off really with Patrick Mahomes. He's one of the top 3 options in Dynasty, but the Chiefs' offense had been more conservative in recent years. He finished only as QB8 in 2023. But as I mentioned, they brought in Marquise Brown. They brought in Xavier Worthy. I think this is the best group of receivers Mahomes has had since Tyreek Hill left prior to the 2022 season. I think we're going to see a more robust pass offense. So I actually like him to once again finish in the top 5. In the backfield, it's all about Isaiah Pacheco. He finished as running back 15, rushed for 935 yards in 14 games. I think he's the show in the Chiefs backfield. I like him as a running back too. He's not a huge pass catcher, but other than Travis Kelce at tight end, I would say Pacheco is probably the most reliable start among skill position players for the Chiefs. I did mention Kelce. It was a little bit of a lesser year in 2023. He had some struggles. He's mentioned that a few times at training camp. He was still tight end 3. He was still tied for the best points per game average at 14.6 points per game. I think the pass offense still runs through him. I like him as a top 3 option at tight end. Wide receiver is where it's gotten more fun if you're trying to get a piece of the Chiefs offense. They return a second-year receiver in Rashee Rice. He caught 79 passes for 938 yards and 7 touchdowns. Saw more than 100 targets. It's been a rough offseason for Rice. He's got some off-field issues. We don't know whether or not that will impact him during the regular season, but the Chiefs did add, as I mentioned, Brown and Worthy. I think all 3 will make an impact, but all 3 eat into each other's upside. I think Kelce remains the most stable passing game option. I like Rice to finish the highest in the group, but probably in low-end wide receiver 3 territory. With Worthy, more of a wide receiver 4, probably some big boom-bust moments, and Brown kind of a wide receiver 5. I think they're all going to take turns. They're all going to be involved. A little bit different than last year, where the 3 primary receivers aside from Rice all finished in the 100s. This is a group where I think the sum of the whole is probably greater than its parts. Well, now we're going to end these previews with some predictions. And the Chiefs have had a stranglehold on the AFC West and dominated in the AFC. They've made it to 6 straight AFC championship games and 4 Super Bowls, winning 3 of them. I don't think that's going to change a lot in 2024. The AFC West is a weaker division, as we'll see in the next 3 previews I do. And I suspect the Chiefs can win 10 or 12 games and win the West again. I think they're also going to be a strong contender in the playoffs. They are really committed to this push to try to win 3 Super Bowls in a row, something that's never been done. Will they get there? They're not my pick right now, but I will make final predictions as we get toward the end of this preview series. You can't count the Chiefs out. They've been doing it for a long time. And as a Broncos fan, trust me, I know it gets tiresome, but I think they're going to have a great team again this year for both real life and fantasy.